Doesn't the public, though, have a right to know who these parliamentarians might be, especially as we approach an election sometime soon, possibly this year, possibly more than likely next year?
Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some serious news coming out of Ottawa in the last 24 hours. One of the parliamentary committees that focuses on foreign interference has released a report that states, not accuses, but states that an unknown number of sitting members of parliament have knowingly and wittingly collaborated with a foreign state to interfere within our democracy. We have had questions about this before, but we can categorically say that this is treason.
Also on Parliament Hill today, another key report on foreign interference, this time by a special all-party committee of MPs. Members of the National Security Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, or NSICOP, have security clearance to be able to review top-secret classified material and conduct its own review over allegations of foreign meddling in Canada's last two elections. Our chief political correspondent, David Aiken, joins us now. David, what's new in NSICOP's own take on this issue?
Well, first of all, Farah, we have what seems to be a never-before-disclosed incident of foreign interference. The NSICOP report says that a member of parliament, quote, wittingly provided information to a foreign state. Now, NSICOP's members are clear to see the top secret CSIS information about this, but NSICOP could not name the MP, it did not say when this happened, and it did not identify the foreign state in play. And when we asked the public safety minister about it, he refused to comment.
I want to be careful not to comment on specific matters, intelligence matters.
In any event, NSICOP, and it's worth saying this once again, that this is an all-party committee. NSICOP said this was a, quote, particularly concerning case in which a sitting MP maintained a relationship with a foreign intelligence officer, and that MP sought to arrange a meeting in a foreign state with a senior intelligence official. The NSICOP report said that MP also proactively provided the foreign intelligence officer with information provided in confidence. Now, the NSICOP report does go over much of the same ground as the public inquiry and other investigations we've already seen, but one interesting focus unique to NSICOP is parliamentarians and how foreign actors target them and their work.
So it's as serious as it sounds, folks. And, you know, if we were going on just what we've heard to date out of the public inquiry, this sounds like it has Han Dong's fingerprints written all over it. But
we don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure. There's a lot of similar events that were actually collected by CSIS and submitted to the foreign inquiry, meeting with foreign ambassadors, potentially disclosing things, meeting with foreign intelligence officials. There's some very strange similarities between what was in this NSICOP report and what was actually disclosed in the public inquiry. But you know, the scary thing is what if it's somebody else, right? That means there's potentially two people that are doing really, really dangerous stuff. And yes, when you're talking about collaborating with a foreign state, giving secrets, interfering within our democracy, that is treason. And to give everybody the correct definition, this is what treason looks like in the Canadian Criminal Code. So this is section 46. Treason. Everyone who commits treason who in Canada uses force or violence for the purpose of overthrowing the government of Canada or a province, B, without lawful authority communicates or makes available to an agent of a state other than Canada military or scientific information or any sketch, plan, model, article, note, or document of a military or scientific character that he knows or ought to know may be used by the state for a purpose prejudicial to the safety or defense of Canada. That is treason, folks. So this is extremely serious. Now, Chrystia Freeland was at a press conference today, and she talked a little bit about this, and she had some very tough questions put towards her about this. Let's take a look at that.
Good morning. I just want to ask about the NSICOP report, and my question is for Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. The report describes behavior that might constitute treason, and yet we've seen no charges. Does that concern you?
Thank you for the question. I want to start by thanking the committee and the chair, David McGuinty, for their very serious work on this. I think that their work, the cross-party nature of that committee, the seriousness with which they have approached this, the real way that they have been fearless in putting the national interest first in this work is really exemplary and shows our parliament, our parliamentarians at their best. Our government takes foreign interference extremely seriously. I think your question is an important one because the findings of the committee are concerning, and they should be. As the Minister of Public Safety has said, we have confidence in our law enforcement bodies to do their job. And I am glad that our government has now put forward the strongest measures of any Canadian government when it comes to foreign interference, giving our law enforcement bodies the tools to act.
Okay, so all that being said, Chrystia Freeland, here's my first question. Where's the charges? You know, a lot of people have asked us, where's the treason charges against Trudeau coming? When are they coming? There hasn't been flat out evidence that Trudeau has committed treason. This committee has found evidence, at least that's what's saying in this report, that someone has committed treason. Not that they think that they've committed treason, that someone has committed treason. That should be an arrest today.
Immediately.
So when is that coming? This is extremely concerning. What did they give this external party? We think it's China. We don't know. What did they give them? How did they interfere? Who are they? What riding are they in? What do they have access to? These are all very serious questions, Freeland, and they need answering.
Deputy Prime Minister, you said that the findings are concerning, and you have confidence in all law enforcement to do the work that they have to do. I guess I would ask, doesn't the public, though, have a right to know who these parliamentarians might be, especially as we approach an election sometime soon, possibly this year, possibly more than likely next year?
Let me just say this. We take foreign interference really, really seriously, and I'm just going to speak personally for a minute. Having worked in authoritarian regimes myself, I take the fight in the world right now between democracy and dictatorship really, really seriously. And I think it's moving to a new level. And I think Canadians should not be naive about the fact that one of the objectives of authoritarians around the world is to undermine democracies. They want to make us think that democracy just doesn't work, and they want to show their own people that they should accept authoritarian leadership because democracy isn't fit for purpose in the 21st century. So I think all of us should take foreign interference really seriously. As Canadians, we should be really vigilant about defending our democracy. We should recognize this is a new time, and it's tougher. The global environment is more challenging than it has been in the past. I think the fact that we have this committee, that the committee has done such a serious job, that it has been a cross-party committee is really important and is real progress. I think the fact that we have put in place legislative tools that give us more of an ability as a country to fight foreign interference is important too. And I do really want to emphasize it needs to be law enforcement that takes the steps and takes the actions. The actual enforcement actions can't be politicized.
Yeah, that's all well and good, Freeland. So why hasn't it happened?
You know, I find it very peculiar that they won't give up the name of the MP who is being accused. I think if it was a conservative, they would have told us yesterday, you know.
Oh, for sure.
So the fact that they're so hesitant makes me extremely suspicious that it could be a liberal or perhaps a former liberal.
Right. Possibly Mr. Dong. And Fox and I were just talking quickly as the video was going, and when Christopher Freeland was saying, oh, well, you know, there's a serious fight in democracy and yada yada. You know, meanwhile, Christopher Freeland's the one who brought up at a commencement ceremony, you all remember that speech, where she was saying, yeah, you know, maybe capitalism doesn't work for us anymore. Democracy doesn't really work for us anymore. Maybe we should try something else. Really, you're the champion of defending democracy now after you said that at a commencement address. I don't think anybody wants you to be the one that's actually standing up and fighting for democracy, Christopher Freeland, because nobody has any trust in you or your government at all anymore, especially when it comes to this stuff.
David's questions from earlier. I understand you're saying matters of criminal charges have to be left to law enforcement agencies, but since we don't know who these MPs are that have been alleged to help foreign state actors, can you give any guarantee to Canadians that if they are liberals, they will be removed from caucus?
The guarantee I can give to Canadians is our government takes foreign interference very, very seriously. We have put in place tougher measures than existed under the previous Conservative government to fight foreign interference. I'm just going to say personally, yeah, we and I are very grateful to this committee for its serious and thoughtful work. From my perspective, foreign interference is not a partisan issue. Foreign interference is an issue about the national interest. It's an issue about the fight between democracy and authoritarianism. And that is absolutely the way that our government does and will continue to approach it. And I want to reemphasize, we take very seriously the role of law enforcement and the importance in our rule of law society of law enforcement making the decisions about law enforcement.
I'm sorry, she's disgusting. Like, this is an easy one, Freeland. So you're not even making a guarantee that you're going to kick this person out of caucus if it's a liberal.
If they're still in caucus, yeah, or if they're liberal at all, yeah, that's a good point.
Like, it's just, it's unreal. And you know what? Keep at it, Freeland, because not even the NDP is going to be willing to stand with you on this one. Guaranteed. Like, the good thing about the NDP is they've at least sided with the Conservatives on the public inquiry. They've sided with the Conservatives on anything foreign interference related. So if the Liberals are really going to stand up and protect one of their own or one of their former because they're afraid of what that might look like, this just holds this government into a completely different light, and this government does not deserve to last another day. And as far as I'm concerned, that makes this government an accomplice to treason. But the interesting thing is that the Liberals' mouthpiece, CBC, came out with a new article today So let's take a look at that.
So this article is titled, China, India Allegedly Interfered in Conservative Leadership Races Report. I'm not going to read the full article, but you will find the link in the description. I'll just read you a little bit to give you an idea of what the CBC is trying to say and how they're trying to spin this. Foreign actors from India and the People's Republic of China allegedly interfered in more than one race for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, says an intelligence report tabled in the House of Commons on Monday. The report from the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, or NSICOP, a key Canadian intelligence oversight body, says there were, quote, 2 specific instances where People's Republic of China officials allegedly interfered in the leadership races of the Conservative Party of Canada, end quote. Most of the details regarding the allegations in the NSICOP report have been redacted. The report does not provide any further information about the nature of Beijing's alleged interference or about which conservative leadership races allegedly were targeted and when. The report also reported an allegation that India interfered in a single Conservative Party leadership race. The report says details of the allegations were removed from the report before its publication to prevent the spread of, quote, injurious or privileged information. Quote, CSIS did not advise the Conservative Party of Canada of any intelligence suggesting there was foreign interference in the leadership contest, end quote, said Sarah Fisher, Director of Communications for the Conservative Party. Quote, this is the first time we have heard about it, end quote. Isn't that peculiar? What do you think is going on there, Cypher?
Well, it's interesting that all of a sudden this story comes out at the exact same time as there seems to be, a foreign interference and treason allegation of a member of parliament, probably a Liberal, probably Han Dong. We hope it's Han Dong because, again, if it's not Han Dong, then it means there's one more person that is doing very shady stuff and committing treason within this government actively. And they're still sitting in caucus. That's the most concerning part. So here's the Liberal mouthpiece, the CBC, saying, oh, well, there was allegedly, an issue with the Conservative leadership race. So what they seem to be trying to do there is to sow doubt in Pierre's leadership and, rile the Conservative candidates up that were actually running for that leadership race. But to what Fox said, they don't even say when it was. This could have happened 16 years ago, could have happened 20 years ago, could have happened 2 years ago.
Right, all the pertinent information has been redacted. So why is CBC even reporting on this when there's no information to suggest exactly when it happened or whose leadership race?
So they're basically saying, so something happened, we don't know, we're not going to tell you what, we're not going to tell you when, and we're not going to tell you who, but something happened, and we know it was related to the Conservatives.
Yeah, don't look at the actual allegations of treason. Let's look over here of all this redacted information that we're going to kind of make you believe is the current leadership race, or the recent leadership race, I should say, involving Pierre Poilievre. But this could have happened 20 years ago. We have no idea.
But this is why we're around, folks. We're around to give you the information that you need and to give you the focus on where we feel the priorities is when it comes to this government. And right now, our priority is finding out who the heck is committing treason and when are they going to be charged.